And in a major development from this weekend, officials confirming that former special counsel Jack Smith tapped by Biden Attorney General Merrick Garland to lead 2 probes into President Trump. He himself is now under investigation by the Office of the Special Counsel. Now, the exact scope of the investigation has not been made public. They may be looking into potential Hatch Act violations, which would ban government employees from partaking in political activities. Last week, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton asked the Office of Special Counsel to look into whether or not Jack Smith engaged in political activity to sway the 2024 election against President Trump. Senator Cotton is here now. You know, if I look at Russia, they knew that the dossier was false. They went with the narrative. They didn't like the real intelligence assessment, so they want another one. 2020, they knew the laptop was real. They verified its authenticity in March of 2020. They pre-bunked it in the summer of 2020. The story is dropped by Rudy Giuliani's attorney. They knew it was coming. They wouldn't confirm its authenticity, all to help Joe Biden. And I would argue from the years 2020 to 2024, they wanted to so smear Trump with lawfare and weaponization that he would be too bloodied up to run as a candidate. And they did their level best. What do you believe needs to be looked at with Jack Smith?
Yeah, Sean, so much of what you just discussed is serious wrongdoing, potentially criminal wrongdoing. Unlike the baseless, trumped-up charges that Jack Smith pursued so zealously against Donald Trump last year, we all said at the time, you said, I said, anybody with 2 eyes to see could say that he was simply racing the clock to try to get these cases to a jury in Washington, D.C., to convict Donald Trump and imprison him before the American people could elect him to go back to the White House. And as I laid out in the letter last week, there's a long series of very questionable decisions of seeking emergency appeals or expedited briefing schedules, the right to disclose information that would typically remain under court seal. There's no logical explanation for those decisions other than a desire to rush these cases through the system, which would not have happened with any other criminal defendant targeted by Joe Biden's Department of Justice. Jack Smith even acknowledged that in his final result, that he was driven in no small part by trying to reach a verdict before the election. I think that's the definition of improper political influence in prosecutorial decisions. So I asked the Office of Special Counsel to investigate these potential Hatch Act violations. I'm very pleased that they've started that investigation.
Do you know if Jack Smith's emails have been preserved, his text messages have been preserved?
Well, they certainly should have been, just in the ordinary course of business, Sean. And I do believe that the House Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan last year was sending him preservation letters as well, asking him to maintain all of those records. So I assume that the Department of Justice will want to take a look at them and all the other records, and also to have a conversation with Jack Smith. He's never actually explained on the record why he made so many of these unusual requests for emergency appeals or expedited briefings. I think the American people deserve an answer for why he treated Donald Trump so differently than any other criminal defendant would have been treated.
You know what? This is an investigation that is needed at the highest level. We can't have this within our government and survive as a republic. Senator, thank you as always. We appreciate your time. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.